Hey, Motorman here with the quick tip of the week. We're going to talk about throttle control this week. And before I go into that, I want to let you know that Friday starts Bike Week in Daytona. We're going to be going over there on Saturday. Yes, myself and Camera Girl, otherwise known as my wife Donna. We're going to be heading over there. We're going to be first at Destination Daytona. That's the Harley dealership in Norman Beach, the giant one. You can't miss it. We'll be walking around the vendor area, and I'd love for you to come up and say hello. In fact, if you do that, you come up and say hello, and you're a subscriber to my YouTube channel, you're going to get, the first 4 people who do that are going to get shortcuts to Ride Like a Pro for free. Now, if you're not lucky enough to be able to get over to Daytona, which is supposed to be beautiful weather, you can get both of these. And you can only get this by calling Shortcuts to Ride Like a Pro and Surviving the Mean Streets DVD for $20 plus shipping. And you got to call to get this. That's 866-868-7433 between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Sunday we have a class, but you can call after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll be there. Don't be calling me from Nigeria at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's Eastern Standard Time. Now, you're going to be able to recognize me easily because I'll be wearing this shirt, the Ride Like a Pro hat, and if it's a little chilly out, I'll have my giant Ride Like a Pro jacket on. You'll be able to see that. And I know what you're going to say when you meet me. You look so much younger, taller, and thinner in person. Everybody says that. So I'll see you there Saturday. We're going to be there at Destination Daytona about 11 to 1, walking around amongst the vendor area. And then we'll head over to the speedway. We'll be over there for about an hour. That's probably about 1 to 2 o'clock. All right, let's go for a ride now. Well, okay, we're going to talk about throttle control. There's your throttle right there. I see so many people in my class act as if this is a Iranian IED that's going to explode if you're not really gentle with it. Come on, it ain't going to hurt you. It's your best friend. Coordinate this throttle properly with the clutch, and you'll be amazed at what you can do when handling the bike at low speeds. Now, the biggest mistake I see in my class is not enough throttle. What people want to do is, right now I'm at idle, and they start letting that clutch out, and they get in the friction zone, and they try to turn. You can't do that. The bike is going to stall if it's at idle, and you have a little pressure on the rear brake. Now, remember, you need to have a little pressure on the rear brake because that makes things so much easier. So what they do is they're barely touching the throttle, they step on the brake, and the bike starts chugging, and it's going to stall out, and it's just an awful thing to see because they have this fear of using that throttle. Now, I'm going to make this U-turn. We're almost from a dead stop, but I'm going to give it some throttle, and we're about 1,800 RPM or so, 1,500 RPM. Right now, 1,500. And I'm holding it in that sweet spot. Put a little pressure on the brake. I turn my head and nothing to it. But if I release that throttle, my hand will still be on it. But I'm at idle speed. Then I put pressure on the rear brake. The bike is at the verge of stalling. And when you get into that turn, you tend to put a little bit more pressure on the rear brake. And if you have no throttle, well, the bike is going to stall. Remember, too, to stay in that sweet spot of the friction zone. You can hold it in that one perfect spot. I believe right now I'm in that one perfect spot. I'm going along at about 7-8 miles per hour. I don't have to add any throttle. I got just a tiny bit of pressure. I turn my head and eyes, and the bike comes around quite easily without even moving the clutch or the throttle. But if you're having a problem holding a steady throttle, now if you've watched any of my class videos and you see my wife riding, she holds a dead steady throttle the entire time. It's as if it's on cruise control. I like to do this with the throttle. It's a constant blipping motion. You can hear that, I'm sure. It allows me to ride more aggressively, but of course I can use both methods. What you need to do is find the method that works best for you. Either a steady throttle, little pressure on the rear brake. That's about 1,500, 1,800 RPM. I could put the bike right over on the pegs doing that. There's rubber on these pegs so you won't hear them scraping, but let's see, right now there's a scrape right there. Again, hold a steady throttle if that's what you like to do, but you got to give it, you got to be more than idle. 1,500, even 2,000 RPM when you're learning this. Occasionally I'll see students that are actually using too much throttle. They're way up here, and I tell them immediately if they're doing that, that's when you're really causing wear and tear on the clutch. So try to stay under 2,000 RPM. Either hold that throttle steady like I'm doing right now, in the sweet spot of the friction zone, little pressure on the brake. I turn my head and eyes around, comes the motorcycle. Do not try these low speed maneuvers with the clutch fully engaged. That's an ugly thing. You hear that chug, 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 because the bike is ready to stall. And then it does stall, and then you tip the bike over and you say, what happened? Well, what happened was you didn't have enough throttle and you had the clutch fully engaged or almost fully engaged. So practice with this. The best way to probably do this is with the slow race. Feed a little throttle, start letting the clutch out. As the bike starts to move, you're entering the friction zone. Let it out just a tiny bit more, little more throttle, and you're in that sweet spot of the friction zone. When you're going straight, you barely need any rear brake at all. But when you're making turns and you're learning these things, these techniques, it's best to use the rear brake. When you get really good at coordinating the clutch and throttle, you can eliminate the use of the rear brake. But until you get really good at it, use all three: clutch, throttle, rear brake, and most important, your head and eyes. So I'm hoping to see you over in Daytona. Stop by and say hello. If you haven't subscribed to this channel and you're going to be in Daytona, well, you should subscribe right now so you don't forget. And of course, I hope you give me a thumbs up. And as I said, we come out with probably average 3 videos a week. So if you're a subscriber, and you hit that little bell, you'll be notified when we come out with a video, and you'll get to see each one of them. I have over 900 videos on YouTube. You could actually binge watch them. I think it'll take you about a week, though. But hopefully I'll see you Saturday at Destination Daytona, and then on the way home we'll stop at the speedway. Again, walk up, say hello, show me you're a subscriber. The first 4 people are going to get a free Shortcuts to Riding Like a Pro DVD. All right, till Saturday.